Welcome to Bake to the Future, the podcast where we take a forward-looking perspective on the baking industry. I'm your host, Jennifer Kohlfeldt, Vice President of Operations and Membership at the American Bakers Association. Today, we're thrilled to showcase an incredible partnership between H&S Family Bakeries and Livin Classrooms. Baking has always been an industry that inherently exhibits a high degree of passion in serving the community. Joining us today are two incredible individuals, Jennifer Stiles, Director of HR for H&S Family of Bakeries, and Cheryl Riviere, Managing Director of Workforce Development for Livin Classrooms. Together, they've created a mechanics apprenticeship program that is reshaping lives of underserved communities in Baltimore. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
So before we dive into the details, let's get to know you better. Our tradition here on Bake to the Future is to ask our guests their favorite baked goods. So Jennifer, let's start with you.
I would have to say the thing that will really get me is a classic cheese Danish.
Ooh, I don't know if we've had that answer before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you may have a lot of this answers. Mine is a soft chocolate chip cookie. It must
Mm.
be, it must be soft.
Nice.
It cannot be hard or crunchy.
People, it's amazing. I have found out people are so particular about their chocolate chip
Mhm.
cookies, and you're either in one or the other. You don't like them both. So it's really. I particularly am a crispy chocolate chip cookie person. So
Ooh,
I know,
You.
right? I know. Going out on a limb there, but
cookie wars.
cookie wars, exactly. So I want to start our conversation by opening the floor to both of you to talk about the mechanics apprenticeship program. Um, Jennifer, can you start by giving us a high level overview of what the program is and how it supports underserved communities?
Yeah, absolutely. So, essentially, we're looking to develop our engineering team, and we reached out to Cheryl and her team at Livin Classrooms, and they already have a really wonderful workforce development program, and they were nice enough to create a program that was unique to us, which has been a huge issue is finding a partner that will make something that's very tailored specifically to what we need and what our industry is. We looked at bringing in what we would consider pretty small cohorts or groups of individuals graduating throughout different periods of time so we can trickle them in and really make sure that they're involved in the business, that they're being onboarded properly and being looked after and cared for properly so that we can ensure retention.
Great. And Cheryl, I wonder, maybe you could give our audience just a little bit of an overview of Livin Classrooms and what your programs are.
So at our Living Classrooms Foundation, focus on learning by doing is our motto, in which we provide individuals in Baltimore City with educational experiences through after school program. We have the first charter school, that middle school in Baltimore, the Crossroads School. We have a well-renowned UA house where we do after school programming. We also focus on providing services in the environmental education arena. So we have about 3 sailboats that go with inner city kids every day and really providing them an environmental education on the water. They thaw oysters, take them out the ocean, and really look at them and analyze them. And then we have our workforce development and community safety program, which is under the umbrella of what I do at Living Classrooms. Our workforce development is that we provide customized training and drop in. We have a drop in workforce development community center to individuals who live in Baltimore City. I say to people that we have a unique niche of the individuals who come to our program because they have either never worked to have been recently being released from incarceration. So we work with the very hardest to serve in some sense. And we get that type of people from the community because of word of mouth. All our programming is in community. So we do not do a one size fit approach to workforce development. We look at the needs of the individuals, the needs that they tell us, and we work with them through their time that they with us to meet their needs and to provide them a training or job in which they will be successful in.
Okay. That sounds like a wonderful program. How long has it been in existence?
I think like 38 years. We first started
Wow.
as the Lady Marilyn Foundation, in which we were just providing the environmental education on the water
Okay.
to young people in Baltimore City. And
Yes.
over the years, we used that magic and the experiences that we learned from that to model all the different programs that we
Interesting. That's
with
wonderful.
the goal that we're going to disrupt the cycle of poverty
Yes.
in a family.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's wonderful. So I wonder if the two of you could elaborate. You're talking about the different programs that you have. How did you specifically cater this program to the needs of the baking industry and H&S?
So I guess if we kind of go back to the beginning, we had heard that they were already doing a program with Under Armour, I believe, right, Cheryl?
Yes.
And it was for warehouse jobs. So we had already started working on, taking a few people here and there for general placement. And the more that we needed um, specific engineering or maintenance talent, we were thinking, how can we find them? I think anybody who's listening to this that's in the manufacturing industry in general, even outside of the baking industry, knows that engineering talent is the one of the number one gaps that we currently have. It's the most difficult to find. I'm pretty sure that all manufacturers in Maryland are fighting for the same 5 people. So
Right.
we're all just hiring them in a loop, right? And so, we wanted to kind of like break the insanity with the placement and the leaving and the constant grind of recruiting. And how can we utilize what Living Classrooms is doing to develop our own? So when we approached them with it and said, "Hey, are you willing to do this?" Cheryl was able to step in, and we worked with our engineering team, and we provided them kind of what our basic skill set would be.
Mhm.
They went in and took a look at all of that and were able to put together our program. So Cheryl, I'll let you talk about your side
Yeah.
and how you guys took the ball from there.
Yes, so Jennifer really educated me because I had no idea what a Class C mechanic was or what
It's
they did.
fair. That's fair.
Yes. So, or even the amount of growth in the industry. So after um she said that to me, I started to research and saw that it was uh people were retiring and individuals who were coming out of colleges with engineering degree were more going to corporate instead of more of the factory type of way. So, got the curriculum and we had a relationship with this excellent instructor who he teaches electrical apprenticeship. He is an instructor and I said, listen to more. I don't know anything about this. Lead me in the right direction. And he looked at it and he designed it and he told me the equipment that they're going to need, the structure that they're going to need. And what I can say about H&S, they supported us in it. They helped us start up with the equipment, paid for the instructor, paid for the stipends, transportation. They really knew the population that we were working with and provided us with the resources so that these individuals can be successful. And we basically tailored it to them. And we have a habit, like now, I think within the past year, we're moving towards more of tailoring our training to the industry or to even to an employer. Like, for example, our production, warehouse, and distribution, that's Under Armour. The curriculum is them. How it is done is them. Um, because the idea is to get a job at the end and with the hope of having transferable skills. So, I think it's the company willing to invest because they saw a need in what is needed for their company to be successful. And I think they look at that investment is going to help the company be as successful as they can be now and in the future because it's meeting that demand of engineers.
Understood. So do I understand correctly? It's a sort of a cohort model. Is that right?
Yes. It's
Yes.
a
Okay.
cohort model. That's the only, and we want to keep it a small learning environment so that
Hmm.
the interventions can be intentional. And you will hear a lot of people say, "Well, we need 20, we need 25 people in a class."
Hmm.
Um, for us, we recruited 12, 13 originally for the class
Okay.
because we thought we would have gotten down to 10, which is
Hmm.
what was our goal. But we graduated 12
Oh, that's
and they
wonderful.
Yeah.
and they had 100% attendance rate. We've
Hmm.
Oh,
never had
wow.
that before. They came every Tuesday and Thursday night. And I think that's because of the support with the resources that H&S provided to us. So we were
Yeah.
able to really meet those individual needs. In addition to our instructor,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
he is top notch. And he,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
I'm serious. He comes from their similar backgrounds. He come from where they come from, and now he is a superintendent
Hmm.
at a big electrician firm, and he also teaches apprenticeship at night. So this is his way of giving back, and he would call him every day and say, sometimes if they say they're running late, he was like, that means you weren't here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to go back to, we keep talking about investment. When we're putting this together, we had to consider how much did we really want to go into this. So there was
Mhm.
a pretty significant expense for us as a company to provide them like the seed fund, right? The seed money or the startup to get this program moving. So yeah, we did have a significant, financial investment, and we had to provide them with all of the funds and seed money to start up with any of the things that they would need specifically to build this classroom. And we also, part of that money went to providing the individuals a stipend to assist with their transition. So they got a small paycheck every single week. And those funds came, specifically from our company. And I think even when we were thinking about it, it sounds very scary, because you're really going out on a limb. But when we look back on it, especially through COVID, I mean, the fees that you're paying for recruiters or placement or temporary workers are so significant that, you know, even the amount of money that we were able to give to start up this program and per individual is still significantly less than anything that we were just shelling out with this like rat race cycle, and losing these employees and not having that wonderful buy-in and these individuals who have had such a wonderful experience of having us assist in their life transition and being able to be a part of having a great career in the future.
That makes a
And
lot
I
of sense.
think to piggyback on that too, it's a great partnership. Jennifer and her team stop by every other week
Mm-hmm.
to make them feel a part of the H&S family. And I think, one of them had asked you, Jennifer, why you guys are doing this.
Yeah, that was the first question they asked on my first day there was, why are you doing this? And why are you
Hmm.
doing this for us,
Yeah.
specifically for us? And I said, well, I said, the jobs are hard. I was
Yeah,
like,
you are.
it's hard work. It's hard work. And they said, well, prison's hard. And I was
Yeah,
like,
well,
that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think when we think about this much larger picture, the company is such a fixture here in Baltimore City. It just makes so much sense that not only are we trying to do something right for the community, but in return, it's providing like actual economic development for the city and overall. So I think even our hope when we put this together was not we wouldn't be the first and only company that was doing this, that hopefully in the future other manufacturers might be able to again piggyback on what we're doing, and maybe our cohorts are still specific to us, but there are other manufacturers in Maryland. Maryland does have a pretty significant manufacturing industry that will benefit from us getting this started as well.
That makes sense. That's great. And so I guess the question for you is, you've got this program going, it's
Mhm.
up and running, you're making great progress, you've had some good successes, which is wonderful. Um, Jennifer, I guess to you, where do you see your next steps going?
Yeah, so we have a couple of next steps in mind actually. So we have our second cohort that will be graduating sometime in the spring. We're targeting March right now. We're going to be doing a review of the curriculum, seeing if there's anything additional that needs to be added or tweaked, so that we can make sure that they're coming out of this program as prepared as possible. I think it is. I don't think we've mentioned this, but they are guaranteed employment with
At the
graduation,
end, yes.
which is another, I think, key component to the success of this program,
Yes.
and has allowed us to really get a significant number of applicants. I know you guys said you have a wait list from the
Yeah.
individuals that you choose
Oh,
from.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And we provide a year of retention for them, and they're going in their 60-day mark.
Wow.
And
And
we've lost one.
You've
we've
only
lost
lost
one.
one. Oh, that's
Yes.
really wonderful.
No.
Yes, yes, we
That's a
lost one,
great,
but
great.
it's us. We like, we do a lot of follow up between
Yes,
Jennifer
I'm
and
sure.
myself, and
Yeah.
I call them all the time. The instructor, even though he still calls them, and
Mhm.
sometimes he calls me and my staff and say, "I bet you guys didn't call them this week because I just called them and they said they didn't hear from you guys." So. And I said, it's gonna be like Tuesday, okay? We got
Yeah, I
Wednesday,
know. I know.
Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah.
He just called me this morning and was
That's
like,
funny.
"Oh, I spoke to so and so. Did you speak to him? Because he said he hadn't heard from you this week." I was like, "All right, well, I
That's so
got
funny.
you. I got you."
That is
So,
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's one piece, and then the fact that Living Classrooms already has a significant program with youth outreach. We are looking at how do we expand this into
to your
that,
youth.
the youth program. So whether that be just from being interacting with elementary school kids, from just a learning about the industry in general,
Mhm.
but I think more specifically right now we're looking at like high school juniors and seniors, and how we can kind of put together like a trade program or vocational program, whether it be internships, probably not mechanic specific, so not engineering specific, but in that realm. So that's something that we've kind of got in the works. And then another thing is we are currently looking at a partnership with Opportunity Builders, which is an organization here in Baltimore that specifically does workforce development for individuals with a variety of disabilities. So this would be even smaller cohorts. We're looking at targeting some other areas of opportunity within our organization for that type of placement. But using this success of this and kind of this idea of customized and tailored training outside with some transitional support that's
Mhm.
specifically for us. And then obviously that guaranteed employment is really, really helpful.
Yeah, I was just
That's
talking to because there's a lot of push in Maryland to have high schoolers go into apprenticeship program, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just speaking to them
mhm.
about our hope and goal, and they really want to focus in community colleges. And I said, hold up, we have a
Yeah.
lot of community-based organizations who and I had to tell the guys, I think about your first day of college, being
Mm-hmm.
intimidated.
Mhm.
And you may have had a brother, a sister, somebody who went to college, and we have somebody from high school who's nobody has ever been to college, and we're going to just plop them in this environment. And I
Yeah.
told them that we need to look at community-based organization doing those apprenticeship programs to support the schools. They're in the community,
Yeah,
and they will be able to have those wraparound services. So yeah, that's one of the things on the horizon.
that sounds great. Wonderful. In a year, hopefully, we can have a follow-up conversation and I can
Oh
hear
my
about
God.
how everything's progressing.
In a year, I'm going to be like, I've got employees coming out my ears. We don't know where we're placing them. That's my hope. That's my hope.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers. That's
Yes,
the case.
yes, yes.
All I want for Christmas is a fully staffed bakery. That sounds about
Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that wish.
I know. To all my HR people out there, I feel you. I know.
Absolutely. So I guess taking a step back, actually, that's a good transition. Just sort of looking at the baking industry at large. Jennifer, obviously, you hire more than just engineers.
Yes.
I mean, you're in charge of hiring across all of H&S. So I wondered if you could give us a little bit of feedback in terms of someone who wants to pursue a career in baking. Do you have advice? Are there specific skills that you're looking for? What do they need to succeed?
Well, I think it depends on the type of baking.
Mhm.
So we know there's actually a pretty broad range.
True.
My previous life, before I came to H&S, I worked in the restaurant industry. And so there is restaurant style baking, right?
Yeah.
We have like smaller scale commercial baking. We've also opened a new artisan bake shop called Needs, which is right down the street, which does a much smaller batch, more hands-on than what we do in our larger facilities, where we're producing for really large clients, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're looking to start in that kind of hands-on and you want to be the kneading the dough, you've really got to tailor your approach to that area. But if you're looking at manufacturing as a whole, I would say anybody can start. We're so open to a variety of different backgrounds, but honestly, it's show up on time.
Yeah.
Be open, listen, learn, be safe. Safety, a huge concern. Do not underestimate what it means to be in a manufacturing environment, right? Like that, we do have some people that don't take that quite as seriously as they should, and we have to continue to re-educate over time. And so I think if you can do your research on the type of company that you want and really target your approach, and kind of get in there. But it's just such a wide variety of types of baking that there is out there. But I think anybody can start anywhere. It's just knowing where you want to go and not giving up. And then when you do get it, show up on time.
Yeah. That is absolutely fair. So, well, thank you for sharing that with us. So it looks like we are closing in on time, which is just amazing. That 25 minutes flew by. But I do want to thank both of you for sharing your story with us. It sounds like just an incredible partnership and two amazing organizations coming together to help serve the Baltimore community. So thank you so much for sharing and telling those stories and taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So for our listeners, we hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and we also value your feedback. Let us know what you thought of the show by emailing hello@americanbakers.org. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Ghana. Thank you for tuning in.